I made a platforming game, but you need to jump to the beat. Sounds simple, right? Well, here's the twist. If you don't jump to the rhythm, you die. Now, I know some people are going to consider games like Geometry Dash to be rhythm-based, but if I'm being honest, I always did better when I turned the sound off. So, in my game, I wanted to make music the core mechanic. Well, the first thing I did was set up my Unity scene. I wanted this game to have a very fun style, so the first thing I did was change the background to this nice orange color, and then I created this little music note for the player. I messed around with creating different properties for the player's jumping, but I landed on a simple single jump. Then I wanted to start introducing the main mechanic of having your jump be based off how well you time it to the music. But before I could make the jump line up with the music, we needed some music. I went to NCS and I found a free non-copyright tracks that I could use for the game, and then I got back into Unity and I created this little circle to visualize the beat. Basically the way this works is I take the number of beats per minute of the song and then I divide it into 60 because there are 60 seconds in a minute. So now for every beat of the song, the circle would reset its size. Then, after liking how that circle helped visualize the beat, I wanted to try and incorporate it into the background as well. To do that, I created these circles and squares that'll show up in the background and bounce to the beat. And then I started working to make it so the player would have the different jump heights based on how well you timed it, and I got something I was happy with. Basically, if you jump on the beat, your jump would be much higher and you could jump farther. Then I was thinking about how I could make a level, and I ended up making it so the player is always moving at a constant speed to the right. This way the player will always be at the same part of the level every time with the song. Now I know this is starting to look similar to Geometry Dash, but it's still going to be very different because in this game the music is everything. Then to help sell that effect even more, I changed the background shapes so they'll be at different depth to make it look like the background is scrolling, and I feel like this one change made the game look so much better. Then I started working on the platforming gameplay itself, and I wanted to make it so the platforms would show up on the beat. I set up this little testing staircase and I made it so each one would show up every 2 beats of the song. Now I went to go test it out and it was actually really satisfying because everything in the world was revolving around the music. Next, we need a reason to actually take those steps because right now you could just not press anything and skip all of it. So what I did was make these spikes that will spawn underneath the platforms, but you might notice that nothing happens when you run into them. So I created this particle system and I made it so the game would restart when you hit it. I also added some more feedback like a rainbow particle system and a sound for when you jump on the beat. By the way, I'm a small channel with only 2,500 subscribers and my goal is to get to 5,000 before school gets out, so please subscribe. Next up, we needed to actually start working on some of the levels. I started by placing down blocks, but it was really difficult to time everything. So for what I showed you earlier, I had to manually go in and place all those blocks and line them up with the music. So I knew I needed some automated way to fix it. That's when I went down a rabbit hole, struggling for so long trying to sync everything to the beat and make it so I can just place blocks and they will be timed right. After about 2 hours of going back and forth with ChatGPT and doing a bunch of Googling, I finally got it so I can just place blocks down and they will line up with the speed in the song. Then I went to test it out, but the beat felt too slow. That was because I'd cut the BPM of the song in half to make it easier to manage everything, because when I set it to the normal speed you moved way too fast. So to fix that, I just needed to adjust the numbers in my code a little bit, and now you can jump on the beat of every song. So here's the first level. So there we go, now we have the first level set up, but you might notice that nothing happens when the song ends. So I got super creative and I created a double bar line just like the end of a music page. So now when you run into it, these green particle effects will play and this little screen will show up saying that you won. Now I know this kind of looks ugly right now, so next thing I did was find this free font and then I changed the background to look a little bit more like the level. So that was it for level 1. I wanted to have at least 2 levels, but before we did that we needed a main menu. I ended up with this and I got a new song for it and I reused the same shapes I had in the first level. I think it's a little cluttered, but I like the way it looks. From here you can go into the levels. And then I also made it so when you're in the level you can press escape and it will take you back to the main menu. Now that we have that in place, we can start working on level 2. For this level, I started by working on the background. I wanted it to have different colors, so I made this nice blue color, and I also changed the shade for the shapes in the background. Next, I found my last song for this project, and since I created such a good system to make the levels, I just started placing the blocks and I got the level how I wanted. I'm not going to spoil it though. I left a link in the description to the game if you want to go play it. Once you check it out, leave a comment if you want me to add more levels. So, that's how I combine a platformer game and a rhythm game. And I'm really happy with how this turned out because it challenged me to make a rhythm game, and it was also my first game I put a main menu on. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, please subscribe and go check out another video.